Hello and welcome to Florida Extremes, Myakka River. And I'm going to audio narrate this course as we went through. We're here starting at the picnic area, and actually the blue line will show our course. This course started with a prologue. And the prologue were 3 points that we had to go to this little rock right here that's by the playground. And then we took a bearing to 3 different control locations. And we would simply run to those 3 locations and find them. Right here's P1 was the first one we found, and then you were supposed to return back to the rock and take a bearing to the second one. As we did that, as I was reading, I realized I really didn't need to go back to the rock. I could actually do a backwards bearing and pretty easily find the locations of the controls. So there you can see I took a turn while Jim snagged the control, and we headed to the third control. Again, notice we didn't go back to the rock. Of course, we were a little bit off here. My plan was to run out here to the road and try to actually look through and backwards figure out where P3 was. Kind of missed it there, but immediately converged in on it, found it, bushwhacked back out to the road here, and headed back in to get our control points for the paddle and get our passport. So we quickly transitioned to the boat here and slogged through a little bit of mud, and we're out into the river. Now, as we headed out into the river, and I'll speed this up as we move down and slow it back down a little bit as we get there, you can see CP1, which is over there. We dropped the boat right here. My pack was with the boat, and so I'll show you right over here by the road. Okay, there it is. There's CP1 from the boat. But okay, then we turn around, headed back the other way, and my pack was in the boat and the GPS was in the pack, so it stayed in the boat while we did the little bit of trekking piece. This was a pretty straightforward paddle through here. The river was not completely easy paddling. Here, another spot here. You can see the control point over there. Really didn't make much sense to take the boat up into that section up in there, so we simply dropped here at the point. It was easy running, ran over, got the control point, and then hopped back into the boat and headed back out again. So you see it moving slowly because we're actually sitting still there. This next portion of the paddle, and again, really good river through here. Just maneuvering our way through a couple of simple shallows. I'll speed us up. We went up underneath the bridge, which we're going to visit a whole lot of times during the course of the race. And here you can see the other light blue path is the path as we were coming back the other direction. And up here we were going to take a little left turn. There's a river actually cut off to the left. Actually, this is the main channel here. It's not much of a main channel. Ran out to CP3 there and headed back over to the boat. I'll speed through this section here. We missed a good opportunity to portage right here because there's a straight across portage to that location, but didn't really pick that up. And it didn't look like a good portage from where we were at, but when we got over to this section here and the river kept getting smaller and smaller, it became obvious that it was going to be easier just to take our boat across some of this land. CP4 was right here. We were planning on hit CP4 back on the way back anyway, so we didn't pay much attention to having to find it in this section here. Here again it got shallow. We had a small channel that we had to move up. Kind of stayed away from that little dead-end lake, even though that would have been a straightforward portage through there. CP5 was a pretty easy one. You can see you can actually see it now as we're approaching it. Easy spot from the side. Just simply paddle up to it, snag it. Now, as we got to here, and I'm going to stop the control here, as we got to here, we saw one team coming back from the control, and the approach to the port to get there was through this section in here, which was not that good of a paddle. It was pretty shallow. The control is located over here, and we simply just straight bushwhacked it. You could tell from the maps that it was on a power line, and then we bushwhacked back and took us right back to the boats. I'll move very fast. This is just a boat sitting there, and as soon as we got into the water, it's now a very straightforward paddle. So we had to pick up CP4 along the way, Had one really good spot, so we're just doubling back on ourselves. One really good spot where we could come back and shortcut a bit of it right past CP4, which was really obvious from the map too. You could see that there was a cut narrow channel there. It was maybe 3 feet wide, but it was enough that we could get the boat through there. As it narrowed down here at the end, we just simply had to jump out, pop it across this sandbar, and get back in the water here. Now from this point on, it's just a straight, all-out paddle back to the transition. No real issues with this at all. And you see the boat going across the land there. That's just because the GPS only picks up specific points, and sometimes it makes it look like we crossed land where we really didn't. You see, we moved through the transition fairly fast. Now we're out on foot, and it started with a road run. Our philosophy was we had 2 controls that were south of the road as we were coming up here. Our philosophy was very simple. We would pick up the 2 on the south side of the road, 14. You see that I actually didn't go right to the control when we spot them. Jim had the passport, and as I would spot the control, I would send Jim with the passport to snag it, and I would continue on looking at the maps to figure out how to get to the next one. 15 was just simply straight through, found it, no problem. Came back across the bridge rather than swim the river. We had an option of swimming there to hit 16. Now here you're going to see something funny that we did. We were heading down this nature trail, and we saw the big over boardwalk thing, and we actually let Wanda go up to the top, walk across it, and then came back. So not something you would typically do in a race, but you know what? Every now and then you just have to have a little fun. Jim easily snagged CP17 as I worked my way along the edge of the wetland here. That wetland that you see to the right, that opening, is where I should have gone. I didn't. I actually continued a little bit too far south here, staying within the trees. At this point, I had realized that I was well south of where I needed to be to find the next checkpoint. But on my left here, as you see to the left there, you can see a tree line and some heavy, heavy palmettos. Now here I was looking at the map, realizing from the map that I could tell that this massive palmetto field was pretty identifiable on the map, and that I was just basically due south of the control location, having gone too far. If I stop it right here, you can see how close I really was. We passed right through there. If we just jumped into this spot here, we would have been fine. But would have saved ourselves probably 5 to 10 minutes of running. But you know, not a big deal at this point. Navigation is always challenging when you're out there and everything looks the same. At this point, I'm taking a 320-degree bearing to take me directly to CP16, which was the next CP that we were going to visit. Wide open running through here. I actually stayed south of it because it got really thick. The further north you went, it got thick. And I knew from the description that there was a trail here. So we hit the trail, ran in there, snagged the checkpoint, which was right there on a small wetland. And then here, we're on an all-out run on a trail, back across the bridge, running pretty hard. We have one more control to get that's here north. This little wetland kind of open area was our attack point. We used that to attack, and then just headed right back out to the road. And this is just a hard road run, which I'll speed right through, straight down the road. Now watch, I'll slow this down right as we get close. Okay, now we'll go to normal speed. Okay, you can see that was our transition. We literally stayed there for about 15 seconds. Jumped on the bikes and then went. Okay, from this point, we've got a really quick road bike back through the section we'd already gone. Away we go, across the bridge. Okay, now we're going to head up to the power line road, which is pretty hard to miss. And we take a right turn here at the power line road. Okay, I'll pick it back up here. This was quite sandy. We didn't cut off that edge. We did go to the road and turn right. And the track here is showing us south, which we were, by the way, biking on this right-hand side or south side of the road. It was just very sandy in the middle, so we kind of stayed right on the edge. Saw CP7, very easy one, sent Jim in, go grab it, come right back out. Took us maybe 30, 40 seconds as I actually stood here on the bike and watched him do it. And Actually watched him walk past it and then come right back out. You can probably tell from the images here that this road is white, it's sandy, it's some pretty challenging stuff. We just punched through, just trying to keep going. I know some teams that were on here might have had some trouble with this. The rest of the course didn't have this level of sand, but this was just a pure straightaway, punching down, nice hot sun beating down on your back. Just, you have to have something that just really makes you work through one of the legs. And this was the leg where we just had to work the bikes. Now as we approach the next control, it was just pretty easy to measure the distance, and the next control had a very simple attack point here that we could use, so that was not going to be an issue for us. Just took the turn, punched down here. You can see the control right there, snagged it. Jim ran ahead, biked ahead and got it. We were back out in just hardly any time at all. Now this road, even though it looks worse, was a chopped up section of road with an actually good road right next to it. So we were able to move pretty good through here without any real issues. The point was very straightforward. Here you can see as we approached the point, we actually ran into a team at this intersection that had been looking for it for a while, helped them out. It was on a stump, it was visible from the road, just punched in there and get it. And my philosophy for this next control, which is just north of here, you can kind of see it through the edge, was to go up the road about 150 meters and then punch straight in. Stopped right here, was looking in to the spot. Control is literally right there. It was visible if you really knew exactly where to look from the road, and we did. We were looking right at it. At this point, we punched in. I went at about halfway to the control. Didn't need to go the whole way. Jim was able to quickly run to the control, and then I kind of backtracked him back out, and we were back out and on the bikes and heading up for the next one, which turned out to be probably the most interesting control of the whole race. Some pretty straightforward biking on rough sandy stuff here. We hit this intersection here. We knew we were heading into this wetland, so we headed in. Clue was the north side of the wetland, which is pretty much exactly where I am right now. I thought maybe I sent Jim to the right, I went to the left. He said maybe it was up a little ways on this wetland, but realized I was way farther away than the mapped location was. Came back out, looked around because it should have been right there where I was at. Didn't see it, so I sent Jim one direction. Sat here and played with the map a little bit and said what I'll do is I'm going to just cross the wetland again through the center and then scuttle up one side of it while Jim scuttled up the other side of it. That turned out to be a good philosophy, except that he had the passport and he was on the far side. I spotted the control here and had to call him over to me, but we got it and we're pretty much back on the bikes again very quickly. Wanda didn't have to do a whole lot there. She just kind of was right there in the middle of the wetland watching us move around. She did at least make sure nobody took our bikes. Not that there was that many people to do it. Some quick turns here. This one was actually mapped, and control description said west side of the wetland, and it was pretty obvious once I got into the wetland itself where it was. You could see it from a pretty good distance, and it was just a simple run in, run back, hop on the bikes. Here we're going to go down, just staying on this road. This was really good riding through here. You can see we're moving pretty fast compared to our other speeds. So, no real issue with moving through here. We had a little left turn that we took, cut off just a small amount of it on a single track, which was kind of fun. But then it was back onto another dirt road. You can see that single track actually ran parallel to us. This is just a straight out and back to snag CP13. Get it, head back, right on the road, easy to spot. See how much time we spent there at CP13. Hit it, turn around, come back. Now, as the road got better through here, and it did, you can see that we were actually picked up a little speed, and as soon as we crossed over that road, we had some really good road. We were just simply putting the pedal to the metal at this point. Heading it back out, we were going to punch out to the paved road as fast as we could, because we knew once we hit the pavement, we were going to be in pretty good shape. Okay, let's get this thing moving again. Now we're just doubling back on where we had actually been. Nice, easy, just flying down the road. In fact, I'll just speed this up. We finished the race. It's a 6-hour race. We finished it in about 4:45. Had a good bit of time to spare. We just wanted to move fast because we didn't know where the other teams were. So it turns out we did finish in first place. It was a good finish. Some beautiful terrain. Really enjoyed the river, the challenge of the navigation really made for an excellent course. So that was the course in a nutshell.